Hey folks, welcome back to West Coaster. Thanks for coming back. I got a fun one for you today. Of course, they're always fun, but we're up at the range, so bear with gunfire or whatever else you hear in the background. But I got a new Magwedge rail, and Dave at Magwedge sent this to me to try it out, so I'll be straight up with that. But if you watch my videos, you know I have a video on the original Magwedge rail, which I liked. And this new one is kind of an improvement on the old one. And he has a killer price on these too, so that's worth mentioning. So what we got going on here is a rail for an SKS, obviously. You can see it attaches through the dust cover at the back and into the old rear sight position there. So the rear sight here needs to be removed. Now, mine was already taken out because I had a rail in there. There's tons of videos out there showing you how to do that. That's probably about the biggest chore of this whole thing, is getting that old rear sight out. And at the rear here, where it's attached through the dust cover, you've got your original pin that was in there, and it normally has a little pin on it as well that helps hold it in there so you don't lose it. Now, I've heard that you can actually pull that pin out. I didn't have any luck with that, so as you can see, I dremeled the thing right off. So it comes out, and the rail comes with this nicely finished pin. This is my old one, so you can see what's going on here. And that holds it in the back in replacement of this. And it also comes with one of these quick release pins, which I must say never turned out to be quick or easy for me. I always fight with these things coming and going, so I like the finished look of these anyway, so that's what I use. But it does come with one of these. Maybe it's just my gun is fussy. If you got advice on that, let me know, because I never had luck with that. But this worked out fine, and it looks great. I think it looks sharp. And what we've got going on here, now at the back, as I say, you replace that, you've got this pin. Something that on this one, originally, in my original video, you'll see there was a little bit of play with this at the back where it sat on there. It had a tiny bit of wiggle, and that didn't really bother me because it didn't seem to affect much, or if anything. But I know it drove a lot of people crazy, and people had various solutions for it, like shimming one side or shimming a bit, that kind of thing. But I got a secret for you. If you take a C-clamp and put it on here and just give it a couple turns, this will bend a little before it cracks or breaks or flaws or anything like that. So don't go nuts, don't hit it with a hammer. But if you stick a C-clamp on there, you can turn this down a bit, check it. And I did that with this, and it fits tight as can be. Now, the new one I got, it fit tight straight off the bat. If it didn't, I would do that, because there's a little bit of variance between these, like with the Russian, the Chinese. You know, that could be the thing going on with this for me. So now, the way this works, I'll show you, compared to the old one is hinged here. This one is hinged as well. But this had this little pin holding it in, and if you're like me, and like many of the others, this pin fell out on you. So if you have one of these pins still, it's a little split pin, open it up a little and then tap it in, and it'll stay in there tight. So there's some advice for you, a helpful hint on that. But what's going on with the new rail is, rather than this setup, it has a couple little studs that stick out and act like the pin. So there's a couple little studs that stick out, and what happens is they get trapped in here. There is a heavy flat spring in here, and there are little channels cut along the sides here. So when you install this, I'll just show you here. I can force down on here, and you see I'm depressing that spring. So when you install this, you take the old sight out, you get this down. Now, I was warned that this can be sort of a three-handed thing, but I didn't really have any problem with it. If you depress this down and you push it up and in from the rear there, it snaps right into place. So now the springs on these, the tension varies too. So you could have, I had no problem with this. It popped right in. And it is solid as can be. Like it really is. So with that spring tension retaining this in here and with the little studs there, it's really solid. It's great that way. And I'll actually show you here. Let's pull this off. Right? So this comes up. You can get your dust cover off and pull all of this out for cleaning. Now this only hinges up this far now. So it's enough to get it up and out of the way. Get all of that out. Do your cleaning, right? It's not in the way for cleaning with a rod down there. And since it does not hinge all the way open, like the last one, apparently that was a little bit of an issue with the old one because it would swing right back. And if you had your optics on there and drop the thing, they'd bash against there, which wasn't great. So it does not go all the way back now. That's the position. I mean, you could block it open if you want to, you know, but you don't even really need to. Let's just, okay. So you want to put this back together, drop that in. You guys know how this works, right? That's under tension, that goes back in. We stick the pin in. Right, and I'll tighten that up. Okay, so you guys, you can see even with my fumbly fingers, that's not too big of a deal to put on and take off and clean. So bonus. And the other bonus with this is, well, it's long, so you've got a lot of real estate there. You've got a lot of room for your optic so that you can get the right eye relief. You can get it where you want it, right? You're not limited that way, which is great. And the other thing too with these is it's cut out down the center here. So you can always get a sight picture right through there, right under the optic. I can still see my front post up there when I look down the rifle right underneath this. So if something goes wrong with that, I can still take a shot. And that I think is a big bonus. We also got a shell deflector. There's a bit of Velcro there. You can see on my old one. This one's a bit beat up. That's a couple hundred rounds on it. So that protects the rail and it protects your optic too, so that those ejecting shells aren't going to be flipping off your scope. So again, that's another good one. Now with this, obviously you're not going to be able to use stripper clips. That's how you're going to do it for loading, unless you're Jerry Michaluk. If you've ever seen Jerry Michaluk do this, go Google Jerry Michaluk SKS. He opens this thing up and he just drops them in, slams the mag cover closed, and away he goes. But I'm not Jerry Michaluk, so I do it like this. And we have, this is some Chinese non-corrosive. I'm being nice to my rifle. And this rifle is a 52 Tula, 1952 Russian. So let's have some fun. I'm going to put my red dot on here for the first time and take some shots. When I had it on the old rail, I could take this thing off, stick it in the range bag, come back to the range, put it on, and I'd be back on target. Now, that's probably a little overly optimistic to expect that that's going to happen with this one, but I have a feeling it's going to be pretty close, so we'll find out. So, I'll say goodbye now. Thanks for coming, and give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. Thanks again to Dave for sending this out. Let's get some ears on, and we'll try a few shots just for fun. Stay tuned. I'll come back to the range with this, and we'll see. We'll put it through the real test here. But for now, it's looking pretty darn good. So again, thanks for coming. Let's take a shot. Eyes and ears. Wow, fun. I think that's bang on, guys. If there was a gong down there, I think I'd be ringing it. Thanks for coming. We'll see you again soon.